Hello everybody, welcome to a brand new Let's Play series in HOI4 Kaiserreich. Today we're going to be playing as the Empire of Japan. My reasoning for playing as Empire of Japan is one, when the China update came out, I think like December, we didn't really play that much in China. So I have still been kind of neglecting this region, so we should probably try to rectify that in some way. And two, Japan has been an asshole in like 3 of the past 4 campaigns. So with that, why not be, one of my least favorite countries to fight against. So, what is our plan here? Well, my plan is, I will tell you right away, is we're going to go down the Yoshida faction here. So we're going to basically empower the Emperor, have him be restored, put this faction in charge. Mostly because I like this 10% factory output here. And then I believe we can either support the Zaibatsu or do the bureaucratic economy. I'm not too sure which is necessarily better. The political power. You're negative 50 political power. Zaibatsu, you saw at times, has also been involved in corruption. So, 2 civilian infrastructure, a bunch of resources, which is nice. A little bit of synthetic refineries as well. I think we're probably going to go for... I mean, the 5% research speed is nice for the Zaibatsu, but I think we're going to go for bureaucratic economy. And after that, it doesn't really matter. So... First things first, we can't do the National Security Act until June. We still have a few months until that is actually where we are. And then you're thinking 1937. We can really only do naval or air tech or land reform. We're probably going to go for the army direction first. And so what's our starting position at? We have 25 civilians, 17 military, 14 dockyards, which is pretty good. It's significantly better than most of my recent starts. 210 ships, 455 planes, 58 divisions. Overall, pretty good. I should also note that we are going to be dividing and conquering Japan, or conquering China, and not supporting the warlords. We're going to basically take everything ourselves. So, with that said, we're not going to have troops in here. Do we even have military access? We do, we are guaranteeing them. But we could just ignore that. This is a different focus tree. I mean, do I want to support the warlord allies? I mean, if I divide and conquer, that makes them puppet states and not just having like an independent China that's within our faction. That seems pretty good. We have a transmitter right now led by Kolchak. We won't really worry about him for now. We get all of these guys. 32, a little bit much, but that's fine for now. That's how much that is. About 8 over. 15. 17 will get you up to 18. Is that the entire army? The answer is no. We got some guys down here in Taiwan. We do got a lot of men. Okay, so that is everybody there. So 24, 24, 10. Make these into under a field marshal. Who do we got? So we got a 5-4 or a 4-4-2. You're both samurais. I'm not too sure that really means anything. You're politically connected. Promotion cost is cheaper. So we're going to put you in charge here. We have like a nice base upgrade. Organization first, charismatic. I think we can hold off for now. So blue army. We're going to send you here. Purple army we're going to send to this front. Brown army for right now is going to be our army that's going to garrison within Japan. The outlying islands in the Pacific I don't really care about at this exact moment. Also, we should probably get a research. It looks like we got some of the basic tech already done. And starting off with 4 research slots is quite nice. Can't go wrong there. So, 30% consumer goods. 6. What do I want to build? Probably let's at least get a handful more military factories. Probably in this 90% region and in this 30%. So we'll build 4 more factories, at least right now. We'll see how we want to play it afterwards. Naval dockyards, of course, we're going to want a handful of convoys being built. I do kind of like just building kind of cheap submarines. So get 5 of those. And after that, let us start building up some dreadnoughts as well. Let us use our little mod here, 50 Army and Navy experience. We are part of the Legation Council. I don't think we've played a campaign recently that actually involved those mechanics. We'll kind of see how that goes. Played with all these guys. At least for right now, until we conquer them, of course. So recovering from the lost decade. In what has come to be called the lost decade, the 1920s were marked by economic depression and political instability in Japan. The plight was particularly severe in the agricultural sector. It caused massive demographic changes as farmers fled from the depressed countryside to urban areas, flooding the labor market and further driving down wages. After leaving the Kinsaki-led constitutional coalition and taking charge of the government, Inuki and his cabinet successfully expanded the Japanese sphere of influence into Manchuria and the edges of Siberia, acquiring vital export markets for the Japanese economy. But the agricultural situation continued to deteriorate as cheap agricultural imports from Manchuria bled into the countryside. As 1936 draws, continued rearmament and state investment has fully rebuilt the industrialized economy, but the issue of rural property remains chronic and unsolved. I believe that is in here somewhere. I've kind of looked into Japan, like just before I started the series, just so I kind of a gist of what's happening. We should at some point. I'm not too sure where it is. Like, is there an actual economy focus tree? There is not. Interestingly enough, you know, this is one of the few countries I think that actually has no dedicated industry branch. We do need to import apparently even more aluminum. Fantastic. We'll trade with the United States for now. Chances are we're probably going to invade. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Voting rights and legation council. Oh, 1 second. I've accidentally turned off my timer. I didn't read it because I hit the button. Well, we have some voting rights and legation council. I'm sure that's fine. Matsatu declares record earnings. Japan has been present in Manchuria ever since the conclusion of the Russo-Japanese War, and in the years since our hold over the region was greatly strengthened. Negotiations at Shanghai in 1928 forced the world to recognize our right to a free hand in Manchuria, opening boundless opportunity to our citizens under Kuitang's army's watchful eye. Our control is not absolute, however, and Zhang Zuo's Fetnian government has not always been cooperative. It's fortunate for him that our desire to safeguard a profitable peace in Manchuria remains paramount, along with our hope that his government one day act as a vehicle for our greater Chinese ambitions. For these reasons, the heart of our efforts in Manchuria and South Manchuria Railway Company, or Matsuko, for short, there's no K in that, which has become responsible for developing and exploiting vast swaths of the Manchurian economy, propelling the region to become Japan's primary source of coal and steel, as well as a producer of over half the world's soybean supply. I mean, political power. They don't like us because we are exploiting our economy, but, you know, it is what it is. The 5544 seems pretty good. It's basically just assign the best people we have for now. And I guess for orange, they might as well just, first things first, garrison ports. We only need 7 people for that. Yeah, that seems fine for us to start off with. I'm not too sure what the likeness that we're going to get navally invaded, but I sometimes have a bad track record with dealing with naval invasions. So let's plan our invasions for now. So we'll go up to here. Purple is going to advance down to this line. We know China has pretty terrible troops. Like, they're not very strong at all. But they got their massive debuff, right? I'm not so sure actually the Fetnians haven't, but war supports. I'm not too sure what actually shows up, but a lot of China has some issues. It actually, no, it probably actually pops up after the Qing just kind of just blow up. That's at least my best guess for the moment. King Edward's crown himself. I mean, we also have Port Arthur, so we shouldn't ignore that. Okay, what are our troops? What do we have? You are horrible. And you are slightly better. So anybody who is like this red debuffed unit, we're going to immediately make you a little bit better. I know we need a lot of guns to do it. You know, you guys here are probably fine being the slightly worse troops. But I don't think you're going to be getting involved in too much actual combat. Dissolution of the Diet. The 4-year term of the incumbent Imperial Diet elected in 1932 is ending. Prime Minister Naki Toyoshi has called for a general election to happen as soon as possible. 25 political power is nice. We're not training any troops, and I probably should do so. 185 days. Okay, 14 light tanks, a bunch of aircraft. It's nice to be having like some sort of air force. So train up, let's say 3 of you. 1 armor division for now. I don't think we have any ports in China itself, because everything's part of the legation council. We might have to kind of intervene as much as possible in the legation council if we can actually get these guys to annex into our territory, so we can use them as a launching point for a war against, I guess it won't be the League of 8 provinces by the time we actually attack, but you know, that general region. We can do some freedoms. Of course, we're not going to do freedoms, but that's for nerds. We actually start off with limited conscription, early mobilization. I think we could probably go to partial right now. Yeah, so you guys all seem okay. I'm going to replace the cavalry division. So you could probably do something else a little bit more productive. Yeah, Afghanistan and India are at war. Nothing too surprising there. But as Japan, you know, we do have a lot of expansion options in the future. Hawaii, Jackman's been elected in France. You know, you got Hawaii, the Philippines, East Indies, Indochina, Siam, India, like Malaysia here. And you got China itself. Tokyo Conference is kind of eh. Do I need to do a Tokyo Conference for this? You do not. You do need both, I think, for this. I'm not too sure. What does this actually give us? Railways in Manchuria and Korea on our behalf. Deeply involved economy in northwest China. Black Mondays hit our shores. 30% stability loss. That's it? Okay. I mean, I guess I'm not too surprised. We are not very close to Germany. Trigger instability in Taijin. Where is Taijin? I think it's probably in the Legation Council, right? Oh, it's up here. Yeah, let's trigger some instability there. That seems like a good idea. So Norway. We recently received a trade delegation from the Kingdom of Norway. The country seeks to new trade partners as now part of the German Reichspakt that dominates trade on the European mainland. They seek to trade, among other things, dried fish. Offers very favorable rates on Norwegian merchant shipping. 20 political power, or I get 25 convoys for free. I'm gonna politely decline. I don't think we need 75 convoys right now. Like, how many are we making? We are making only 0.1 a day, or 0.2 a day. I mean, it would save us like 3 years probably of convoy production, but I don't think that's that important. So the general election of 1936. After the constitutional restoration of 1926, the subsequent political realignment, 2 parties came to dominate Japanese politics: the conservative Rikin Shaiki Association of Friends of the Constitutional Government, and the liberal Mansitio, the Democratic Party. The Rikin Shiko is an absolute majority from the general election in 1932, but supported in the countryside. Their tradition of voting base has been declining. As the political atmosphere turned against the ruling party, the Mansitio, known as the Kinshaki, before 1927, solidified their electoral base throughout the cities and began expanding into the countryside. Hoping to break the Seiki's absolute majority in the Diet, a new third player in the general election in 1936, the Saikai Taishuto, the Socialist Masses Party, founded by Social Democrats and Syndicalists in 1933. It's time to see if Saeki is enough. Do we want them to remain a majority? Because I want to... I'm assuming something's going to happen here. I mean, the conservative members in the Diet fear that as the actors and past some radical elements will try to seize power. So from that, I am thinking If it fails to pass, we can do that. If it passes, then we can defend democracy. So if the conservatives want it to pass, we might want to vote in the liberals, so that it has a bit bigger chance of failing. So we're gonna put in the libs. We'll see how that goes. I mean, it says they lose their absolute majority, so they might still be in power. We'll see. I mean, it's not 51%, so I mean, they still seem like they're doing pretty good for themselves, all things considered. The disagreements within army leadership. The ongoing factional rivalry within the ranks of the Imperial Japanese Army have found a new front. The military strategic debate between two rising stars, Major General Nagati Tetsuan and Major General Obata Toshihiro. Okay, they believe the Japanese economy is inadequate to sustain any kind of total warfare, and thus building up its total war capability army should be our top objective. I mean, that seems right. Obata's analysis is nearly identical, but he has come to a different conclusion. Due to our volatile international tensions, war should come to Japan before the country could ever achieve. Accordingly, he came to the conclusion that future wars, the Imperial Japanese Army must seek quick destruction of hostile forces by waging a war, short, rapid, and decisive operations to avoid a long war. Both agree centralized command structure is a good idea. The raw manpower tactics is a poor strategy. We can never hope to compete with the Russia or Chinese manpower. We may now have to choose how to proceed. So, what do you guys do? I mean, obviously, it's going to choose. We support neither generals and move forward without them. We support Nagata and we'll move forward under his guidance. Obata. And we support both generals and ask them to work together. However, if we lack the political strength to get them to work together, this may backfire dangerously. Favoring too many projects for the army might see as unfair bias by the Navy's leadership. So now the Navy's going to be mad at us. You're not mentioned at all, so that we don't have to worry about what this general thinks. Does it work the other way too? No, I mean, the army doesn't get mad if we focus on the Navy, so... So support artillery, superior firepower, army reorganization, 5% organization. I don't think... You don't seem very good. Motorized and mechanized, armor technology. 5% attack is significantly better, I think. And 10% speed. You both, neither of you really seem good. Recruit population. That's a ton of manpower. That's like a modify by 3%. So is that a 1.5 to 2 to 3? Or is that altogether a 6.5% manpower increase? Electronics, communications, grand battle plan. I mean, I generally like superior firepower overall. But that'd be a lot of people. I mean, how much population does Japan have? 65 million. Let's go superior firepower, I think. And then I guess we're going to have to focus on doing some stuff for the Navy if they're going to be upset with us. Marshal Wu, Pifu, Bax, and Xing. And then eventually you're going to break apart as well. I can't, of course, get involved quite yet. The assassination of Kaiserreich, born in 1859, Kaiserreich is one of the most senior syndicalist leaders in Japan, known as the father of Japanese syndicalism. Exiled to the United States after participating in early social democratic movement, Yada witnessed and was influenced by Japanese syndicalist activities and development of the IWW into the CSA. Yada's returned to Japan after the Constitution Restoration in 1926 and founded the first legal syndicalist party in Japan, the Rodo Namito. And after the party was declared illegal in 1932, he formed another party called the Sakai Toyoshi, an alignment of social democratic parties and syndicalist movements. Yesterday, while visiting Kyoto to congratulate Toshido member Yamamoto in his election, a gang of 3 right-wingers stormed into his office and beat the 2 men with clubs. Yamamoto survived, but Kiyota, age 75, never regained consciousness and died earlier today. This will be bad. 5 sensibility loss. It could be worse. I mean, not that we really care about what's happening, Shanghai has refused. Terrible news coming out of Shanghai. The mandate has refused to give us green light for further operations. It's a major blow to our plans to take over Tianjin. We will now have to wait for the China agency to Australia more tax before we can make our demands again. Are you... What do I need to seize? More than 35% support for the China agency. We definitely don't have that. In fact, we only have 14% in the legation cities, which doesn't really seem that great. In fact, it seems kind of bad. Okay, we do have some more civilian factories. Let's go for 2 civilian factories in Kanto. And are we still missing a lot of rifles? The answer is yes. About 1 year on rifle production, half a year for you. Light tanks are not a high priority for us right now. I mean, we are building a lot of planes. Really, you know what? I don't think I've ever actually used heavy fighters. Okay, war in Afghanistan is over. Oh no, Seneca's taking over Australia. Okay, I mean that does change things a little bit for us. I don't want these heavy fighters. I can tell you that. So the Entente might go to war with you. Death of the Pope. Who cares? So if you're at war, or you're not at war, if you are now independent, it does make our expansion options a lot easier since we can maybe just outright avoid a war with the Entente. Okay, you guys are now at war in the north. Not like we can get involved at the exact moment. I mean, it would be nice. But I don't believe there's anything we can do to invade China. At least, again, not until like 1937. And has ended the war. I'm assuming Afghanistan lost. Yeah, not a huge surprise there. After Japan, after January 1st, 1937. I mean, these are actually pretty fast. Only 35-day focuses, so we could probably invade pretty quickly. Within 4 months, it looks like. It wouldn't be too much of a challenge at all. Of course, we do have to worry about Russia somewhat. Because I think they can attack Japan, but it does require them to own most of Eastern Europe. So we should be pretty safe from Russian aggression until they're at war with Germany. And if we're lucky, they just lose to the German. I know, but I think we're going to eventually be going to war with Germany. So I'm not too sure exactly how I want this to go. I mean, it would be nice for us to attack the Russians. Maybe if Russia gets involved in a war with Germany, we attack the Russians. And then... Does that make any sense? I don't know. Maybe it depends on what Transmeter does. If Transmeter wants to try to take over all of Russia, we'll support it. But we shall see. But I believe for right now, this is going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thanks everybody for watching my say and some. If you enjoyed, my thumbs up. And not enjoy, you can always thumb down. If you want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.